This is the new Yaros in town, the fresh horns in Ireland. See, they my first time they miss snow. They make happy like something. See them. Pfizer, see them.
I turn ice block finish.
5 years, after 5 years of living in the UK, I have finally got my indefinite leave to remain. My UK permanent residency application has been successful. February 2018, I got my Tier 2 visa to migrate to the UK, where I started working as a nurse. Now, 3 years afterwards, I renewed my visa. I applied for the skilled worker visa. 2 years after renewing my visa, I applied for my indefinite leave to remain, and that has been successful. In this video, I'm going to explain to you all the specific documents I submitted for this application. Okay, the examinations that I had to do. Yes, you have to do exams. 5 years after living in this country, they still expect us to do exams before we apply for our permanent residency, and I'll explain those examinations to you. Then the total cost of the process, not only the cost of the application, okay, not only the application fee, but the total cost of the indefinite leave to remain process. I will explain that to you also. Then if you go online, there are a lot of information online. Some of them are false, okay? False information that will scare you when coming to apply for this indefinite leave to remain. I will explain all those false informations to you. Example is those of us who drive. I read somewhere if you have driving offense, your application can be refused. Guys, that is a lie. I will explain that to you later in this video. To start, with, you can do this application yourself, okay? I don't think you need the services of a solicitor, a visa, or an immigration agent to do this application. You can do this application yourself. It is simple, it is straightforward. With just your computer, you can do this indefinite leave to remain application yourself. Now, with regards to time spent in the UK, so usually if you are on workers visa, you have to live in the UK for 5 years, okay? You have to be staying in the UK for 5 years before you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain. Then also, I have to add that you don't have to wait till your 5th year before you put in your application. You don't have to wait till your 5th year before you apply for your indefinite leave to remain. Now, on the website, they have clearly stated that you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain 28 days prior to your 5th year. So, for example, if your initial visa that you migrated to the UK with was issued on the 30th of January 2019, it means that technically on the 30th of January 2024, it will be your 5 years in the UK. The Home Office is saying that 28 days prior to 30th of January 2024, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain. So you can put in your indefinite leave to remain application 28 days prior to your 5th year in the United Kingdom. Then about the examinations, you have to write 2 exams before the indefinite leave to remain application. You don't write it when doing your application or after. No, you write it before your application. The first one is life in the UK test. Now, with regards to this life in the UK test, everyone between ages 18 and 64 have to write these exams. So if you are between ages 18 and 64, you have to write the life in the UK test, no matter the visa that you migrated with to the UK. That is if you are applying for your indefinite leave to remain. Now, the life in the UK test is about £50. I don't know how much it costs in other parts of UK, but here in southwest of UK, it's £50. But if you want to book it the next day or the next week, then you have to pay more. But then if you want to book the life in the UK test 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a month or 3 later, before you sit for the test, then it is £50. To write the life in the UK test, you have to study about UK history, okay? And I'll do a separate video about life in the UK test, the specific things that you have to study. I will even post study materials for you to study about this test. Then I'll also show you some tricks that you can use to pass this test easily. Life in the UK test, I understand, does not expire, okay? It doesn't expire, so you don't have to wait till your 5th year before you write it. You can write it even when you come to the UK, okay? Within your first month, you can just write it and put it there. It does not expire. So I advise that you prepare yourself, you write it, then you clear that hassle from your way. Then after your life in the UK test, for some visa holders, you have to prove proficiency in English language. People on skilled worker visa and all types of tier 2 visas are not part of this, okay? If you are on skilled worker visa and other types of tier 2 visas, you don't write English exams or you don't prove proficiency in English language when applying for your UK settlement or your indefinite leave to remain. The reason being that the Home Office is saying that we proved proficiency in English language when we were applying for our visa that we used to migrate to the UK. So you remember that your skilled worker visa or your tier 2 visa that you migrated with to the UK, you had to prove proficiency in English language. Because of this, we don't prove proficiency in English language again when applying for our indefinite leave to remain. So what I understand is, for all those who did not prove proficiency in English language when they were migrating to the UK, when you are applying for your indefinite leave to remain now, you have to prove proficiency in English language. Now, example of ways that you can prove proficiency in English language is either you use your university degree or your master's degree or your PhD to prove proficiency in English language, or you do an English exams. And the most easiest English exams that you can do, guys, it is far more easier than IELTS, okay? The most easiest English exams you can do is the Trinity College exams, okay? The Trinity College English exams. Now, the cost of the entire process, not only the application fee, the cost of the entire process. So I have spoken about the cost of the English exams, which is £155. That is if you have to prove proficiency in English language and you don't have a university degree to prove and you want to write an exams. It is £155 for the Trinity College English exams. The life in the UK test is £50, okay? And making £205, okay, making £205. Now, the cost of the indefinite leave to remain application, the standard application is £2,404. £2,404. There is an option for you to do priority and super priority applications, okay? Priority and super priority application. If you want to do priority application where your application will be processed within 5 working days, within 5 working days, you pay an extra £500. Now remember, bank holidays and weekends are not part of these 5 working days. Bank holidays and weekends are not part of the 5 working days, and your 5 working days start from when you do your biometrics. So when you submit your visa application online, it doesn't count from there. It is when you go to the center to do your biometrics, okay, and get your photograph taken. That is where your 5 working days start counting from. You can also pay £800 in addition to your standard fee. That is £2,404. You pay an extra £800 for super priority service. This is quick and super, and this is within 1 working day, okay? That is 24 hours. And guys, before I forget, when booking your biometrics, you have to pay some money, okay? When booking your biometric, you have to also pay some money, so you can add it to the total cost of the whole process. Then about the specific information and documents that I uploaded. The first one is my valid traveling passport, the demographic part of the passport where my picture is. I just scanned that part and uploaded it. The second one was proof of funds. Now, when doing your indefinite leave to remain application, there is no specific amount of money that is required to be in your bank account. No, they haven't stated anywhere that you should get 1,000, 2,000 or 5,000 pounds in your bank account. But just to show them that I have a valid bank account, okay, and also proof of address, I scanned my bank statement, 3-month bank statement. Okay, I use 3-month bank statement to do this. Then proof of address. In addition to my bank statement, I also scanned and uploaded a utility bill, and this was my electricity bill. That's what I use for my proof of address. Then I also scanned and uploaded my rent agreement. Okay, so if you have mortgage, you can use your mortgage agreement. If you rent, you can use your rent agreement to also show your proof of accommodation. That is proof that you have a UK address. That is proof that you have a residency, a place that you are staying in the UK. Proof of employment, I use 2 documents. The first one is my pay slip. I use 3-month pay slips. Then I also went to my nurse manager to write a letter for me. Okay, so your nurse manager can write a letter on your hospital or care home, wherever that you're working, on the official letterhead of that institution. Now, in that letter, he confirmed that I am employed by the hospital. I'm still employed by the hospital. The date that my employment started, my role at my workplace, okay, and he also added if they need any further information, they should contact him. He left his telephone number and email address, so you can also get the same letter from your workplace. Then proof of travel. With regards to proof of travel, when during the application, they will ask you which countries you travel to in the course of the 5 years. Okay, now you have to show evidence that you traveled. Then what did you travel to? What did you do when you traveled? So I provided documents that showed what I went to do when I traveled. I know some people just travel to visit family and friends. Okay, in this case, you can't provide any document to show that you just visited your family and friends, but you can upload your flight ticket. Okay, you can just upload your flight ticket, and that is exactly what I did. So proof of reason of travel is also needed. Then life in the UK test code. When you pass the life in the UK test, they will not give you any certificate. It is just a code that they will give you. That code will be emailed to you. So during your indefinite application, you just copy that code and paste it in that box that they ask for. Then I didn't provide this, but for those of you who have to provide English proficiency as part of your application, they will ask for this as well. I came with a skilled worker visa, so I didn't have to prove proficiency in the English language. So these are the documents that I provided. After uploading your document, you book your biometric appointment with Sopra Steria. I hope I've mentioned the name well. It's the only company that does this biometric in the UK. Okay, they are called Sopra Steria. They are all over the UK. They have offices in almost every city in the UK. Okay, so you book an appointment with them, and they take photograph of you when you go to them, and they also do your biometric. That is, they do your fingerprint. Before I end this video, let me tell you about some false information I read online that scared me. I thought my application would be declined. I thought my application won't be successful because I was engaged in all those things that they listed. The first one is cancel tax rebates. Guys, I've had a lot of cancel tax rebates or discounts or whatever that you call it. Okay, I've received reduction in my council tax, but still my application has been successful. Okay, then this energy sector discount or rebate that they are giving. I also received some. My application has been successful. So if you receive, collect all those monies. They are not part of public funds. They are not part of public funds, guys. Okay, don't be afraid. Take all those discounts, all those monies, okay, and when you apply, you will be successful. Then another thing is about driving offenses. Okay, so I learned how to drive in Northern Ireland. Then I moved to Bristol. Now, when I moved to Bristol, okay, Bristol is a big city. I didn't know the road, so I received a lot of parking tickets, bus lane tickets, over speeding. I remember I was going for a Tonbury agency shift, and I was late, so I was speeding on the motorway about 100 miles per hour. And 3 days time, I just received a letter, okay, that I've been charged and I had to pay some money. They wanted to deduct some points from my driving license. Okay, so I have gone through all that, but my application has still been successful. The only thing is, do not let them summon you in court. Okay, so when you get that parking ticket, pay it in time. Okay, if they take you to court, that is the problem. If you get that overspeeding ticket, if you get that bus lane ticket or any driving offense ticket, okay, pay in time. Make sure it doesn't end in court. And this is not the only thing. Whatever trouble that you get yourself in within the 5 years, make sure that it doesn't end in court. Guys, that's very important. You make sure you pay your council tax. Okay, if you owe council tax, your application can still be successful. Okay, I was owing about £200 council tax before I made this application, but has been successful. Just make sure that no matter what, okay, you don't end in court. That is the most important thing. It doesn't show that you have to be 100% clean. I wasn't 100% clean, not close to it, okay? But my application has been successful. So these are some false information online. Just be bold, do the application yourself, and everything will be successful. This has been Nature and Lifestyle Channel. My name is Mordecai. If you have any question, just ask in this video comment section. You can join me on Telegram. I'll leave the link to my Telegram page in this video description, and you can join and also ask questions and interact with me. I wish you success in your indefinite leave to remain application. See you another time with another interesting video.